So, Caitlin Clark is playing a game. And there's this issue with her and Angel Reese. There's this, Caitlin Clark pushes one of the teammates of Caitlin Clark. I'm sorry, Angel Reese pushes one of the teammates of Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark fouls Angel Reese. Angel Reese does one of these LeBron flops and falls on the ground. I mean, she learned it from LeBron. Falls to the ground. And the next thing you know, DeMarcus like, oh my God, she's protected. Oh, it's all because she's...
Well, my goodness. Angel Reese is getting absolutely obliterated today for all kinds of reasons. Obviously, we're going to look at the backlash because now people are just flat calling it like they sees it. They're saying Angel Reese lied about a race hoax, just like Bubba Wallace, just like Jussie Smollett. And now, after the WNBA concluded their investigation and released a statement, people are demanding Angel Reese apologize.
All right, stop everything. The WNBA drama just hit a whole new level. And this time, it's an alleged internal conflict threatening to boil over on the Chicago Sky. Forget the Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese rivalry for a second. What happens when one teammate reportedly praises the other's biggest rival? That's what allegedly went down, and according to many, it exposed deep cracks in the Sky locker room, sending a clear message that not everyone is on the same page. This isn't just about basketball anymore. It's about personality clashes, team meltdowns, and a very public perceived truth bomb dropped by one rookie on another. You're tuned into WNBA Scoop, and we're dissecting the alleged friction, the surprising statement, and why this could be the moment Kamilla Cardoso indirectly told Angel Reese, "You're no Caitlin Clark."
You know what I love watching? I love watching her highlights of missing shots. She's got to be the worst shooter you've met in your...
The moment that allegedly sent shockwaves through the WNBA and became the center of this new firestorm wasn't on the court during a game. It was off court in an interview setting. Chicago Sky rookie Kamilla Cardoso, a highly touted draft pick herself, was reportedly asked a straightforward question. Who is the brightest future star in the WNBA besides yourself? Without skipping a beat, Cardoso's answer was reportedly immediate and confident. Caitlin Clark. Think about the context here. This wasn't just a casual compliment to a competitor, it was a public declaration of admiration for the player who has become Angel Reese's most prominent and polarizing rival since their intense college battles. A rivalry that has fueled headlines and often involved very public, heated clashes both during games and in the media.
This is Angel Reese. Go ahead and play it. She needs a lot of attention. Go ahead.
Yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that. Like, it's not just because of one person. A lot of...
Boom, what a move. Okay, so average WNBA viewership, okay, game, 7,300 in attendance, okay? The average Angel Reese game is 10,100, 10,200 they come to watch her. You know what the average attendance is when Caitlin Clark plays home or the road?
What?
15,000.
This bold statement from Cardoso allegedly wasn't just praise for a fellow player. It was reportedly a subtle, yet undeniably pointed dismissal of her own teammate, Angel Reese, who many assume sees herself as the primary contender for that future face of the league title alongside, or perhaps even ahead of, Clark. Cardoso reportedly didn't hesitate to reaffirm her stance, highlighting Clark's unprecedented influence on viewership and her magnetic ability to elevate the entire league's profile. This public declaration from one-star rookie praising the rival of her own teammate allegedly underscored a growing recognition across the league of Clark's undeniable economic impact and drawing power, but it also immediately hinted at deep underlying tensions and a potential rift within the Sky locker room, revealing just how fiercely some players are reportedly competing not just for on-court success, but for recognition, respect, and status within the league's new Clark-dominated hierarchy.
Jackie Robinson of the WNBA will be Caitlin Clark if she stays healthy. There's a group of them that would hope for her to be out. But
why do you say she's going to be the Jackie Robinson of the WNBA?
Well,
it's not like she's the first white girl.
She's not the first white girl, but she's the first white superstar at the levels where she's scoring these, the threes she's shooting. She's like a Steph Curry. She's the first actual superstar that people care. When's the last time we watched like college basketball? If I told you, tell me the greatest college basketball female basketball players last 30 years, and you watch,
Diana
I know her. She's our meet, but you look at some of these names. You see some of these people on how they do.
Yeah.
But Caitlin Clark came out the gates and
you
put up some numbers.
Adding significant fuel to the fire of this perceived internal conflict was the timing of Cardoso's reported comments. They came at a point when Angel Reese's own team, the Chicago Sky, was reportedly struggling badly, suffering multiple losses to start the season, and failing to meet the high expectations placed upon them after drafting both Cardoso and Reese. Cardoso's praise for the player who has consistently overshadowed Reese since their college days reportedly felt particularly cutting given the Sky's poor start. Consider the stark contrast. While Angel Reese's early preseason games reportedly drew significantly fewer spectators than a typical WNBA game, Caitlin Clark was consistently selling out arenas across the country, generating unprecedented buzz and driving massive revenue increases for the league simply by showing up.
There was Caitlin's hard foul, which turned into a flagrant on Angel Reese, which sparked all the things that we dealt with last season. And the league currently is investigating any racism that happened from the fans or anything that was said. It's almost as if we didn't learn from last year. That Twitter conversation turns into mainstream media conversation because the mainstream media still isn't quite hip to women's sports. They're not quite understanding this world, this game.
And the difference, according to critics and many observers, isn't just in star power or off-court hype, it's allegedly showing up in the stats and overall efficiency on the court. While Clark was reportedly putting up impressive numbers and leading her team to competitive performances, before her recent injury, Angel Reese has reportedly been struggling with offensive efficiency, shooting a low percentage from the field, turning the ball over frequently, and reportedly struggling to complete even basic post moves against defenders who are sometimes half her size, raising questions about her transition to the professional game.
Okay, listen, y'all, this is what we've been waiting for. This is the letter for the investigation. Listen. In response to the WNBA's recently concluded investigation, they go on to say, "We appreciate the swift and thorough process undertaken by the WNBA to investigate these allegations, which were not substantiated. At Gamebridge Fieldhouse, we are committed to providing the best possible basketball experience for players and fans."
This perceived struggle with on-court efficiency and decision-making, combined with Cardoso's very public praise for Reese's rival, allegedly transformed what could have been a simple compliment into a pointed critique of Reese's perceived stagnation, and what some see as a self-centered approach to the game that hinders team success. If you were in Kamilla Cardoso's position, a highly touted rookie center with a strong understanding of fundamental basketball, you'd reportedly be incredibly frustrated with the lack of cohesive offense, with the ball movement, and with the team's inability to consistently get entry passes into the post where she excels.
One thing we know about RG3 is he's not having conversations at his home about what black women have to endure in this country, about what young black women and athletes like Angel Reese have had to deal with being on the opposite side of Caitlin Clark's rise and ascension into stardom.
And this frustration, reportedly visible in Cardoso's body language during games, allegedly boils over when she sees the team caught in what some observers have critically called the Angel Reese shoot-miss experiment. It's a perceived pattern of offensive possessions, where the ball often seems to stick with Reese, leading to forced, inefficient shots or turnovers, despite teammates being open for better opportunities, or Cardoso herself being in a prime scoring position in the post, calling for the ball. You can see it in the visible reactions of Cardoso on the court, moments where she looks exasperated, waving her arms, or questioning decisions that appear to prioritize individual attempts over fundamental team flow and defensive efficiency, allegedly highlighting the growing tension between the two young stars and their perceived different approaches to the game.
You're doing exactly what LeBron is doing, so.
Cardoso with the miss. Angel Reese picks it up, what she's good at. Getting another offensive rebound. She says, "Give me that." How about another? Persistence trying to pay off. Jones gets a piece. Angel Reese won't give up. Jones with another block.
The Chicago Sky's 2025 season has reportedly spiraled into chaos with terrifying speed, and the underlying tensions between star forwards Kamilla Cardoso and Angel Reese allegedly reached a critical point after their fourth straight loss, this time a defeat to the Phoenix Mercury. While Reese recorded a statistically impressive, but arguably hollow in the context of losses, double-double, Cardoso's public remarks about Caitlin Clark's talent, combined with her increasingly visible frustration directed towards Reese on the court during the game, have reportedly revealed deep fractures and simmering resentment within the locker room and on the bench. This isn't merely a rough start, it's allegedly an outright identity crisis for a franchise that heavily invested in the Reese-Cardoso duo as the cornerstones upon which to build its future. And that foundation already appears to be cracking under pressure.
This is from Brittany. Every time we play her, there's this commotion, like this loud rumbling from the stands. Turns out it's people, thousands of them, just sitting there, watching on purpose. It's very disruptive. It's called the freaking game that they pay you money to play. Don't play the game.
The team now reportedly faces urgent questions about leadership, cohesion, and whether they can salvage their season amidst such palpable internal turmoil and alleged on-court disarray. Angel Reese's supporters often highlight her double-double statistics as evidence of her impact, but as critics are quick to note, these individual numbers frequently don't translate to victories for the team, leading some to label them as hollow or mere participation trophies with numbers attached. One moment that drew significant attention from observers was Reese reportedly putting up a baffling shot while looking away from the basket, seemingly just flinging the ball up over her head, all while perimeter shooters were open, and Kamilla Cardoso, who reportedly had an incredibly efficient game statistically, was open and calling for the ball under the basket, illustrating the perceived disconnect between individual focus and team play.
Voiced frustration in a recent interview, claiming that Caitlin Clark is ruining what used to make the WNBA great. Wait for this.
Empty stands?
Tom, let me just.
Go ahead, I'm so mad.
WNBA games used to be a chill, quiet place. You could bring your laptop and relax, maybe even get a little work done. But now it's like there's a large gathering of people watching us from the stands. Some of them are yelling crazy shit about what they're seeing, putting unfair pressure on.
This kind of play, combined with the mounting losses, has allegedly pushed the tension between the two highly drafted stars to a critical point, bringing the alleged conflict into the public discourse. The Chicago Sky's 2025 season reportedly got off to a catastrophic 0-4 start, suffering their fourth straight defeat in a close game against the Phoenix Mercury. Watching Cardoso during the game, captured by cameras and widely shared on social media, it was reportedly clear that she was emotionally checked out at times, her body language visibly communicating her frustration and desire to be elsewhere, perhaps on a winning team with a more cohesive dynamic and a clearer understanding of fundamental basketball principles. And honestly, who can blame her for feeling frustrated? She publicly praised Caitlin Clark, a player who embodies winning and offensive efficiency, while her teammate Angel Reese allegedly appeared to be lost in a chaotic, unscripted performance, seemingly turning fundamental professional basketball into what some commentators have critically called an unrecognizable interpretive dance of inefficient shots and poor decisions, leading to losses.
Basically, I'm going off of skill, for my opinion. And I'm not gonna lie to you, this woman actually worked out in the off season. This woman was only concerned about press and her podcast. You could tell who put in the work in the off season. I'm not saying it for nothing else besides.
The growing tensions between the two highly drafted stars have reportedly been simmering beneath the surface for weeks, but this latest defeat, coupled with the public comments, only exacerbated the situation and brought the alleged conflict into the open. Reese reportedly entered the season with her characteristic confidence and swagger, expecting to lead the team to greatness and capitalize on her college fame, only to allegedly realize that confidence without fundamental team chemistry and consistent, efficient on-court performance is hollow and ineffective at the professional level, especially when it results in losses. Their 0-4 start isn't just bad in a vacuum, it's historically disastrous for the franchise, reportedly tying their worst ever start to a season, exposing deep-seated issues within the team's identity, leadership structure, and alleged on-court execution and decision-making.
You called her garbage compared to Caitlin Clark.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Explain.
Listen, man, and again, I will emphasize this every day of the week, twice on Sunday. I love my people. I love black people. Mwah, 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 mwah. But I think sometimes we do play the race card too much, or when it's not necessary, because everybody's trying to make this about a, come on, black man, protect the sisters, brother. This ain't racial. This is about sports.
Meanwhile, Kamilla Cardoso has reportedly been standing on the sidelines during key moments or caught in the midst of the chaos on the court, her visible frustration mounting with each questionable decision or missed opportunity, looking, as one observer put it, like a master chef watching someone struggle to boil water, baffled by the lack of fundamental execution. The Sky are reportedly facing an urgent need to regroup, establish order, and figure out their team identity before this season spirals even further out of control, potentially losing the goodwill and attention they gained during the draft, and alienating their own talented players.
Guys, Caitlin's cooking. I'm talking about Martha Stewart, Gordon Ramsay cooking. She is cooking everybody in the WNBA right now. If you don't know Caitlin, here's a little backstory on her. She went to Iowa. She graduated from Iowa. She has the most points scored for a women's college basketball player ever. Not to mention, she has the most points scored out of any man ever in college basketball history.
But here's where the drama reaches a new level of intrigue and perceived calculated passive aggression. Cardoso didn't just offer a casual compliment to a fellow player, she specifically praised Caitlin Clark, a player who not only represents the league's soaring popularity, but also allegedly symbolizes everything Angel Reese publicly aspires to be in terms of on-court offensive impact and widespread mainstream adoration, but arguably has yet to achieve consistently at the professional level. That's not just simple praise from one player to another, it's reportedly a subtle, yet undeniably pointed provocation, a strategic declaration of tension masked cleverly as admiration for excellence found elsewhere, creating a direct comparison that reflects negatively on her teammates' current performance and perceived focus. It's the basketball equivalent of telling your roommate, right after they've had a public meltdown and are crying into a pint of ice cream, that their ex was actually a pretty cool and successful person, highlighting their current struggles by praising someone associated with their past perceived failure. The timing and boldness of Cardoso's words, coming amidst the Sky's disastrous start and the public perception struggles, make the moment even more delicious and revealing of the alleged underlying friction and dissatisfaction within the team, specifically directed towards Reese's perceived approach to the game. Meanwhile, the chaos in Chicago shows no signs of subsiding. Cardoso, a true basketball talent with a high basketball IQ, clearly understands that intelligence, skill execution, and team flow matter on the court, even if individual stats look good. In stark contrast, Angel Reese appears to be caught in a confusing identity crisis, reportedly struggling to integrate into a team concept and allegedly trying to prove she's more than just a rebounding machine and defensive presence, struggling to find her offensive game and contribute efficiently. Her attempts at leadership on the court often reportedly come across as frantic and self-focused, rather than calm and team-oriented, contributing to the perceived chaos and inefficiency. She's reportedly been moved around the court more times than a pawn in a chaotic chess game, shifting positions, even allegedly handling point guard duties at times, a decision that baffles many observers given her struggles with shooting and ball handling. This happened probably because the coaching staff, perhaps in a moment of desperation, thought, what if we let the player who struggles most with shooting and ball handling run the offense? Watching this unfold is reportedly like seeing someone try to fix a complex, leaky faucet with a sledgehammer. They're technically addressing the problem, but they're risking making everything significantly worse and causing more damage in the process, allegedly reflecting a lack of clear strategic direction. Commentary from observers highlights the visible frustration within the team, pointing out that they still aren't giving Kamilla Cardoso enough touches in the post, the area where she excels and can be most efficient. They reportedly give up on trying to get her the ball too easily, or when they do attempt entry passes, they're often poorly executed, thrown low or awkwardly, despite Cardoso being 6'7" and capable of catching passes thrown higher. It's incredibly confusing for analysts watching, wondering why the team isn't leveraging its talent effectively and efficiently. It just doesn't make sense from a fundamental basketball perspective, adding to the perception of disarray and poor coaching or execution. Head coach Tyler Marsh reportedly approached his new role with the optimism and enthusiasm of a first-time parent, eager to develop Angel Reese into a complete, versatile basketball player who could do more than just rebound and play defense. He reportedly envisioned her as a dynamic, multi-dimensional star, capable of creating space, facilitating plays for others, and leading the team with confidence and efficiency on the offensive end. But the reality of the early season has reportedly been far different and deeply challenging. Instead of blossoming into the versatile, dynamic player Marsh hoped for, Reese has reportedly often struggled with offensive consistency, making questionable decisions with the ball, and displaying body language that suggests she's unsure of her role or frustrated with the flow of the game. It's as if Marsh's ambitious plans for her, while well-intentioned, were too unrealistic at this stage. Like expecting someone who consistently burns toast to successfully run a 5-star restaurant kitchen without extensive retraining and a change in fundamental approach. Marsh's vision of Reese as a multidimensional offensive weapon has yet to materialize on the court. Instead, Reese has reportedly become the basketball equivalent of a Swiss Army knife with several broken tools, appearing disorganized, unpredictable, and unreliable on the offensive end. Rather than being the versatile threat Marsh wanted her to be, she seems reportedly caught in a confusing phase, publicly trying to prove she can do more than just rebound, but often falling significantly short in execution and efficiency, hindering the team's overall offensive flow. It's reportedly a tough reality check for both coach and player, highlighting how incredibly challenging it can be to turn raw potential and athleticism into consistent, high-level performance and effective team play at the professional level, especially under pressure and intense spotlight, and that fundamental adjustments are needed beyond just changing positions. Watching the Sky's games has become a study in frustration, as one observer noted after the loss to Phoenix, where they reportedly blew a 16-point lead. The Mercury weren't even playing particularly well, yet Chicago couldn't close the game out. The commentator questioned how a professional team could be that ass to blow such a lead, especially when their key players, like Cardoso, reportedly had successful individual nights statistically. Cardoso put up solid numbers, while Reese had her double-double. Yet despite these individual numbers, they couldn't get the win, highlighting that individual stats alone don't win games, and something fundamental is missing in the team's execution and cohesion, potentially leadership or tactical implementation. The funniest and perhaps saddest part of this entire situation for outside observers is reportedly watching Angel Reese's most ardent supporters attempt to spin this catastrophic start and the visible team disarray into something positive. She's learning, she's growing, she's adapting, they reportedly cry online, while Kamilla Cardoso is left on the court or the bench, looking like a woman forced to watch someone try to convince her that water flows uphill, defying basic physics and fundamental basketball principles. At some point, critics argue, potential without consistent, efficient production on the court becomes just a participation trophy with impressive numbers attached, and participation trophies don't win games in a professional league. Fundamental skill and team play do. Cardoso's public endorsement of Caitlin Clark isn't just simple basketball analysis, it's reportedly a masterclass in professional, high-level shade, delivered with pinpoint accuracy and strategic timing. By praising Clark, Cardoso is essentially telling the world, and specifically her struggling teammate, this is what elite, efficient, winning basketball looks like. While Angel Reese, unfortunately, continues to provide a live, nightly demonstration of what it often doesn't look like in terms of offensive execution, team synergy, and fundamental efficiency. Observers argue that Cardoso is playing a strategic game of chess, carefully considering her moves and statements, while everyone else, including perhaps Reese, is reportedly playing checkers, focused only on the most immediate, visible plays and individual statistics, rather than the broader game. And with her recent comments and on-court frustration, Cardoso might just have put Angel Reese's basketball reputation in checkmate, forcing a reckoning and a potential shift in how Reese is perceived and needs to approach her game. The Sky's 0-4 start has reportedly exposed every weakness this team and its strategy thought they could hide or overcome with raw talent and hype. General Manager Jeff Pagliuca reportedly called the start disappointing, a significant understatement that, for many, is like calling the Titanic's maiden voyage a minor shipping delay. The team brought in experienced veterans like Courtney Vandersloot, Kia Nurse, and Ariel Atkins, hoping their leadership and stability would help manage the personalities and structure the offense. But even seasoned professionals reportedly can't overcome a teammate who appears to be struggling to integrate into a team concept and allegedly treats fundamental basketball like a personal highlight reel with disruptive commercial breaks between plays, hindering flow and chemistry. One commentator lamented that Chicago needed veteran leadership in the post specifically, suggesting the addition of veteran guards wasn't enough. It was like putting bad makeup on a deeper underlying problem in the front court related to fundamental post-play and efficiency. The sentiment among some fans and analysts is that while patience is needed, Angel Reese might not even be a starter on any other WNBA team with a strong, efficient post presence, suggesting her struggles are fundamental to her game at the professional level and not just a rookie adjustment period. Reese is likely to go through a rough period in her rookie contract as she adjusts, but many believe Chicago needs to make significant changes beyond just hoping for improvement from one player, potentially rethinking their strategy or roster construction. What makes this situation particularly juicy and revealing is that Cardoso's comment about Caitlin Clark reportedly came from a Brazilian interview, indicating she felt comfortable enough to speak honestly and perhaps critically when she thought the American basketball world and the intense Chicago media spotlight focused on the team's struggles wasn't intensely listening or scrutinizing her every word. That's often when you hear the real, unfiltered truth about what's happening behind the scenes, or what players truly think about their teammates and the team's performance. She could have easily named any other promising player in the league, or given a diplomatic, generic answer to avoid controversy and protect her teammate. But she reportedly chose to highlight the one athlete who most directly embodies everything her teammate Angel Reese is currently perceived to be struggling to achieve at the professional level: efficiency, winning orientation, fundamental skill execution, and truly elite professional performance that drives positive results for the team, not just individual stats. The signs coming out of Chicago are reportedly increasingly clear and worrying for the franchise's future: missed shots, blown leads, visible frustration on the court, and public comments paint a vivid picture of a team struggling desperately to find its identity, execute a coherent game plan, and function as a cohesive unit. Head coach Tyler Marsh is reportedly learning, perhaps the hard way, that coaching Angel Reese effectively might be like trying to teach calculus to someone who is still struggling with basic arithmetic and fundamental concepts, trying to implement complex offensive and defensive strategies with a player who allegedly lacks fundamental basketball IQ, offensive efficiency, or willingness to consistently prioritize team concepts over individual plays. Kamilla Cardoso, in the meantime, is reportedly realizing that raw talent, athleticism, and even impressive rebounding statistics alone cannot fix a stubborn lack of fundamental basketball fundamentals, offensive efficiency, and a consistent team-first mentality in a teammate, creating visible friction and frustration. Meanwhile, somewhere in Indiana, Caitlin Clark is reportedly likely watching this very public chaos and alleged internal conflict unfold in Chicago and quietly, perhaps with a hint of relief, thanking the basketball gods that she ended up on a team that, despite its own early struggles and her temporary injury, appears to understand the fundamental concepts of team chemistry, player utilization, and what it takes to build a cohesive, winning team at the professional level, even if the wins haven't come consistently yet. Because, as one observer bluntly put it, it's incredibly difficult to argue that Kamilla Cardoso is wrong in her assessment. For many, it's almost as good as being fact that the best young player in the WNBA right now, the one with the most undeniable impact and potential, is Caitlin Clark based on performance and fundamental skill. Clark, before her injury, was reportedly putting up stats that, if they were in college, might have won her National Player of the Year again, and she was doing it in the highly competitive professional league, highlighting the significant difference in perceived impact and skill level compared to others. The Sky's season is reportedly rapidly turning into a cautionary tale about what happens when potential, hype, and individual branding clash head-on with the harsh realities of professional execution, team chemistry, and fundamental basketball, and reality reportedly wins decisively, often resulting in significant losses. Cardoso's praise for Clark isn't just basketball analysis. It's reportedly a subtle, yet deeply pointed, public acknowledgement of the significant gap between her teammates' current performance and what true professional excellence looks like on a consistent, winning basis. Allegedly tired of carrying the team's offensive load herself when given the opportunity, and watching her teammates struggle with basic execution and decision-making, Cardoso's comments and visible frustration reportedly reveal a potential breaking point, and perhaps even a sense of betrayal from the team's strategic approach, which seems to prioritize individual stats or branding over fundamental team concepts. 4 games into what was supposed to be Chicago's redemption season, rebuilding with 2-star rookies, fans are reportedly witnessing a real-time basketball intervention playing out publicly. Cardoso has reportedly clearly run out of patience with the perceived amateurism, inefficiency, and lack of fundamental execution, diplomatically but effectively burned her teammates' public basketball reputation with her honest assessment and sent a clear message to the league, her team, and everyone watching. This isn't the level of basketball she aspires to play or believes is conducive to winning at the professional level. The real question now is whether the Sky organization can somehow salvage the season, establish order, integrate its players effectively, and build a functional team identity, or if Kamilla Cardoso will eventually seek a trade to a team that reportedly values true basketball talent, efficiency, fundamental skill, and a consistent team-first approach over individual statistics, off-court branding, and drama. Meanwhile, Angel Reese's time to prove she can be an efficient, winning player at the professional level is reportedly running out, and the WNBA doesn't wait for potential to fully materialize. It often moves on or consumes it. Right now, Angel Reese isn't just being outplayed by Caitlin Clark in the public narrative. She's reportedly being exposed by her own team's poor performance, her own teammates' honesty, and the undeniable frustration brewing within the locker room and visible on the court. What do you think about this whole mess? Drop your opinion in the comments below.